We were asked to come to do forestry work. 800 men, I think we were. And we were divided all over Scotland for the war effort. And that's what brought us here.
So that was my grandfather, Simon Martinez, better known as Sam, in Edinburgh. I filmed him from the age of 101 to 106, where he passed in 2016. I had heard all these magnificent stories. This man has lived a life, right? He's lived through the war. He's gone from the jungle to civilization. He became one of the oldest Hib supporters. He even became the grandfather of football around the world. I am Julio Martinez. I'm a Scottish filmmaker based in Glasgow. I was born in Edinburgh. I grew up in Mexico. I left Edinburgh at the age of 4. And I came back at the age of 18 in 2011 to meet my family, live with my grandfather just before he passed. My grandfather came to Scotland to help during the war effort from Belize, formerly British Honduras, and he came over as a lumberjack in a convoy of 800 men in 1942. He was 32 years of age, and the people of colour were put at the bottom of the ship, as my grandfather described it, and he managed to meet someone from Scotland on the boat, and the person asked him, "Oh, where are you going, Sam?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to Scotland." "Oh, Scotland is very cold. You're going to need some warmth." So he gave him some gloves, a scarf and a balaclava, and my grandfather always reminisced on that moment.
We went into the village in Ullapool. They were surprised to see the black men coming. The kids were all running about, and they think it was all cold men coming. But it didn't take long. We become real friends. They were good to us.
And I think it was important during the war because there was no men workforce at the time, because all the British men had gone to fight the war. So I think they needed an extra helping hand. I believe that my grandfather was one of the last surviving men of the British forestry unit that came over in his convoy. Yeah, I think it is important that it is told, because not only is it part of Black history, it's also part of Scottish history. This is particularly one of the stories that I was pretty intrigued about, and I bought a camera, decided to plonk it next to him and just have a conversation with him. To me, it is just his grandson filming his grandfather. I think it's roughly around 100 trees that are planted here. They're here to represent the Commonwealth countries. I think it's important to have these trees here commemorating such an important part of Scottish history, and I'm excited to see them grow and what they'll look like in 20, 30, 40 years. So my grandfather's connection with Hibs, the story he told me was he was walking down Leith, London Road at the time, and he thought there was a riot. A couple of guys approached him and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, there's nothing to be afraid of."
He said, "There's a football game up the road." I said, "Football?" Then I take heart and I follow the crowd. I said, "I'm a stranger here, I don't know the teams." He said, "Well, that's Hibs, that's Rangers."
He trained a football team back in Belize that used to wear green strips. I think that's why probably he fell in love with Hibs, because they wore green strips. Ever since, he became the oldest Hibs supporter. So much so that even when he passed away, they donned the black bands at the following football game. When he turned 100, my dad brought me back a t-shirt that was given at the game as well, and here it is. Sammy 100. He always used to say 3 things. Have no worries, go to your local pub, and potentially have a whiskey. But one of the important ones was always keep your health, because if you're healthy, you can do anything. And he was always a happy-go-lucky guy, and he always saw everything in a positive light.
I am lucky to be here among the family, so I am just content. I don't worry over what has gone past.